Chapter 37, Washington, D.C., October 28, 2016, Friday morning. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is the nation's most respected law enforcement agency. That is, it was until it ran headlong into the duet of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Now, no one really knows how much damage the Bureau will eventually suffer after all the investigations of it are complete. It was the revelation that Secretary of State Clinton used her private email server to conduct State Department business that began the FBI's spiral downward. President Obama and Attorney General Loretta Lynch clearly wanted the investigation wrapped up quickly for political reasons. Mrs. Clinton was poised to take over for Obama if she could defeat Donald Trump. But then things began to get complicated. Hillary Clinton had no defense. She didn't. Her explanation was that she used her personal email account for convenience. Then Loretta Lynch met privately with Bill Clinton in Arizona, putting the Justice Department in a very bad place. The Attorney General said that she and the former president discussed grandkids. Except for an alert Phoenix reporter, that inappropriate 30-minute conversation would have remained clandestine. Even after public exposure of the meeting, Loretta Lynch did not rescue herself from the federal investigation into Mrs. Clinton, as she should have. The assumption on the part of some law enforcement analysis is that her boss, Mr. Obama, wanted her to stay on the case. In July, as mentioned earlier, FBI Director James Comey went public saying Hillary had screwed up, but not enough to be prosecuted in the opinion of the FBI, which never should have rendered an opinion. The Bureau was mandated to turn over whatever evidence it had compiled to the Attorney General, who, by job description, is tasked with the prosecution calls on high-profile cases. But again, it certainly looks like President Obama did not want to go through the regular chain of command in Hillary's case. Was the fix in? More evidence would have to be forthcoming in order to answer that question. What is certain is that Director Comey is more of a bureaucrat than a crime fighter. A lawyer out of the University of Chicago, Comey was appointed FBI chief by President Obama in 2013. By his own statement, he believed Hillary Clinton would defeat Donald Trump in the election. Soon after he allowed candidate Clinton to avoid further legal scrutiny, the 6'8" Comey was part of a group that informed President Obama that Russian hackers had compromised a vast amount of emails from the Democratic Party. That was the first WikiLeaks dump. Again, Mr. Obama chose to keep that information quiet, and Comey was directed to investigate the Trump campaign to see if it was working with the foreign hackers, certainly a legitimate probe by the FBI. But, as we now know, Comey's top investigators were not neutral fact-finders. They were anti-Trump partisans. Thus, the Bureau is now diminished, with possible indictments looming. James Comey knew all that when he decided to insert himself into the presidential race yet again. With 11 days left until the vote, Comey revisited his July statement in a letter to some members of Congress. In effect, he was saying that new evidence had surfaced in the Hillary Clinton email case. The FBI has learned of emails that appear to be pertinent to the investigation. I am writing to inform you that the investigative team briefed me on this yesterday, and I agree that the FBI should take appropriate investigative steps designed to allow investigators to review these emails to determine whether they contain classified information, as well as to assess their importance to our investigation. What Director Comey failed to tell the public is that the new pertinent emails were captured on a computer owned by the notorious former Congressman Anthony Weiner, whom the FBI had nailed on child sexting felonies. Weiner was married to Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton's close advisor. Apparently, the couple shared email accounts. Even with the Weiner revelation kept quiet, there was consternation in the media. Realizing that their chosen candidate was now in jeopardy, the vast majority of the national press immediately condemned Comey. On the other side, the conservative media convicted Hillary of high crimes and demanded her withdrawal from the race. For Donald Trump, Comey became a member of the Magi, bringing gifts of great value. The candidate opened, "I have great respect for the fact that the FBI and the DOJ are now willing to right the horrible mistake they made." Of course, the Clinton staff immediately sought to downplay the FBI reveal, but all the King's horses and CNN couldn't put the Clinton campaign back together again. A few hours after Comey put out his letter, a leak pinpointed Anthony Weiner's tangential involvement, and things got even worse. To this day, Hillary Clinton believes James Comey cost her the election, and she said so in a book she wrote after the election. As the Trump campaign celebrated and the national press gnashed its collective teeth, the question became, why did Comey do it? The answer is simple: to cover his butt. That's what bureaucrats do. A shrewd political player, James Comey knew that if Hillary Clinton were elected president, and it later came out that he did not disclose the new email information, especially with the villain Weiner involved, he would be ruined. His July exposition had already put him in an ideological kill zone. He had to get out in front. It was survival. But the chaos was not over for James Comey, who actually thought he would get through the political mess with his job intact. With all eyes on the FBI, Comey had another moment of reckoning coming up. This one would take Donald Trump by surprise.